In this video, we'll be taking a look at 5 MLB games happening on April 15, 2025, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 10 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 5 MLB games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Boston Red Sox versus Tampa Bay Rays. The Boston Red Sox and Tampa Bay Rays square off on Tuesday in another chapter of their divisional rivalry, with this matchup taking place at George M. Steinbrenner Field. This is the second game in a 3-game set between these two American League East foes down in Tampa. After missing out on postseason action last year, the Red Sox made a handful of notable roster changes over the winter, aiming to make a push for October baseball. On the other side, the Rays are also hungry to bounce back after falling short of a playoff berth in 2024. In his most recent outing at Fenway Park, Buehler looked like he was finally settling in. He mixed his pitches well, keeping the Blue Jays off balance while racking up a season-best 7 strikeouts. On the flip side, Pepe had a rough go in his last start, serving up 3 home runs to the Angels in his own ballpark. He's already surrendered 4 long balls this year, and that could become a serious problem against a Red Sox lineup that tends to heat up in warm weather games. Buehler should have no problem keeping Tampa's quieter bats in check, while the Sox are in a great spot to do some damage against Pepe. It's a little odd seeing the Rays favored here, considering how up and down they've been through the first 16 games. The Red Sox, meanwhile, look like they're starting to click on offense, and it's not a stretch to say they're the more complete team right now. Buehler hasn't been sharp every time out, but he showed flashes of his usual form when he held the Blue Jays to just 1 run over more than 6 innings. If you can spot value by siding with the better team at a decent price, you're going to end up on the right side of things more often than not over a long season. This feels like one of those opportunities. As our first pick for this matchup, the Boston Red Sox moneyline ISO or full game side pick. The Red Sox lineup hasn't exactly broken out in a big way yet, but a game in Florida's warmer air could be what gets them going. The team went nearly 7 days without a homer before Story finally snapped the drought on Sunday. With the kind of firepower they have up and down the batting order, it's only a matter of time before they start putting runs on the board in bunches. Tuesday night could be the night it all comes together, especially in a ballpark where the Rays have hit the over in 5 straight games heading into Monday's tilt with Boston. Expect the Sox to come out aggressive at the plate and drive the pace of play, pushing this one over the projected total. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Kansas City Royals versus New York Yankees. Kansas City comes into Tuesday night's matchup against New York looking for their first road series win of the season. The Royals sit at an even 8-8 and will try to tip the scale in their favor as they face the Yankees, who are 8-7 in the second game of a 3-game set at Yankee Stadium. New York has had the upper hand recently when these teams meet, winning 7 of the last 10 matchups. The Yankees may have landed a much-needed gem in Max Fried, a key offseason pickup they badly needed, even before Jarrett Cole went down with injury. Through the early part of the season, Fried has looked like one of the best arms in baseball. He started 3 games so far, and the Yankees have won all 3 by an average of nearly 6 runs. With each outing, Fried has looked sharper, and in his last start, he was almost untouchable. Meanwhile, Kansas City's offense hasn't done much to inspire confidence, and now they have to face one of the hottest pitchers in the league. Heading into this series, New York had a 5-4 record at home, while Kansas City was just 2-4 on the road. The Yankees also dominated the Royals last year, winning 7 of 10 meetings, including a clean 2-game sweep in the wild card round. New York has managed to win 5 of their first 9 home games, and Kansas City has dropped 4 out of 6 on the road. The Yankees are in a better groove offensively, especially against right-handed pitching, and they should be able to get to Michael Wacha. Wacha has allowed 7 runs over his first 3 outings, and things won't get any easier for him against a Yankee lineup that's hitting its stride. The Royals' bullpen hasn't been much help either, particularly away from home, which makes it even tougher to slow down a team like New York. Kansas City likely won't put up big numbers on offense, not with Fried pitching like he is. The lefty has only allowed 1 run across his last 2 starts, and none of those came against a Braves team that knows him well. He's in a groove, and that means Kansas City is going to have to work hard for every base runner. As our first pick for this matchup, the New York Yankees to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The Royals have hit the under in 4 of their last 6 contests. They're averaging just 3.25 runs per game overall and a paltry 2.33 runs in their last 3 on the road. They haven't been terrible against left-handers, hitting .253, but now they have to deal with a guy who's barely allowed a run in his last 2 starts and who already shut them down recently. The Yankees, on the other hand, are averaging 6.33 runs per game, though that number dips to 4.33 over their last 3. They're hitting .250 off right-handers, and Wacha hasn't exactly been sharp, giving up 6 runs over his last 2 outings, and 2 of those came in his last game against New York. In the last 3 meetings between these clubs, the total has gone under each time. Even though the Yankees swept the Royals in the wild card round last year, the games were tight. The 2 wins were decided by just 3 runs total. In fact, their last 5 meetings have all been close, with margins of 2 runs or fewer. Fried gives New York a huge edge to start the game, and Kansas City just hasn't shown they can produce runs. The Yankees are capable of lighting it up offensively, but before this series started, they had scored 4 runs or fewer in 6 of their last 8 games. The Royals, meanwhile, had scored 4 or fewer in each of their last 9. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Atlanta Braves versus Toronto Blue Jays. The Atlanta Braves, sitting at 4-11 on the season, continue their 3-game set against the Toronto Blue Jays, who are off to a better start at 9-7. The series picks up again on Tuesday. Atlanta is coming off a tough road series where they dropped 2 out of 3 against Tampa Bay. Meanwhile, Toronto just wrapped up a short 2-game series on the road against the Orioles, where the 2 teams split the games evenly. The Braves will hand the ball to one of their most promising young arms, Spencer Schwellenbach, who's been lights out so far this season. At only 24 years old, he's showing flashes of someone who could be a core piece of the Braves' rotation moving forward. Over his first 20 innings of the season, he's given up just 1 earned run, coming off a home run by Kyle Schwarber. He's kept the Phillies, Padres, and Marlins off the scoreboard otherwise. That sort of dominance should carry into this game, especially since the Blue Jays haven't exactly been lighting up pitchers this year. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is still searching for his first homer of the season, and Toronto recently struggled to put up runs in a series against the Mets, scoring just 3 times across 3 games. On the flip side, Atlanta's offense might be showing signs of life as both Marcell Ozuna and Matt Olson start to swing the bat better. Offense hasn't exactly been Atlanta's strong suit this year, which is pretty clear given their record. With just 4 wins so far, it's obvious the bats haven't been doing enough, which makes low-scoring games more likely, especially when their pitching holds up. 2 of Schwellenbach's 3 starts have hit the under, with the one exception being a game against the Marlins, where the Braves exploded for 10 runs thanks to some rough pitching on Miami's part. That kind of outburst is unlikely here, as Kevin Gausman has looked sharp for Toronto. He's fresh off a dominant start against Boston, where he tossed 8 scoreless innings and racked up 10 strikeouts. If he can repeat anything close to that performance, Atlanta's lineup will have a tough time getting much going. Both Schwellenbach and Gausman have been reliable to start the year, which makes it hard to picture either pitcher getting knocked around in this one. Neither team has had a strong offensive start. The Braves rank 20th in the league in team OPS at .672 and are putting up just over 3 runs a game. Toronto isn't far ahead, tied for 13th in OPS at .706 while averaging 3.71 runs per contest. When these teams meet, it tends to be low scoring. 7 of their last 10 matchups have gone under the total. This has all the makings of a quiet night at the plate, especially in a cross-league matchup like this. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Athletics versus Chicago White Sox. The Athletics, currently sitting at 6-10 on the season, are kicking off a 3-game set on Tuesday in Chicago, where they'll face off against the White Sox, another American League club that's had its share of struggles. Athletics is coming off a rough 8-0 loss to the Mets on Sunday, a game that capped a series in which they dropped 2 of 3. They've now lost 5 of their last 7, and not surprisingly, they're holding down the bottom spot in the American League West. The White Sox didn't fare much better over the weekend, falling 3-1 to the Red Sox on Sunday and ending what was a short-lived 2-game winning streak. They, too, are at the bottom of their division, last in the American League Central. Last season, the two teams split the season series right down the middle, with each side taking 2 wins at home. Both clubs have been among the slowest out of the gate this year, and most folks don't expect that to change a whole lot as the season rolls on. The Athletics have managed to look a little sharper, especially when they are away from home. They've gone 4-3 on the road so far. The White Sox, meanwhile, are just 4-5 at guaranteed rate field. They're handing the ball to a young starter who's still getting his feet under him. He did get his first big league win last year against the A's, but even in that outing, he gave up 5 hits, 2 walks, a homer, and a couple of runs. Athletics' lineup hasn't seen much turnover since then, so there's a decent chance they can do some damage again. On the flip side, Springs has looked shaky lately, but he's had a particularly hard time pitching at home in Sacramento. On the road, though, he looked sharp in his one start, and honestly, this team seems more focused away from the distractions of their less than ideal home setup. As our first pick for this matchup, the Athletics' money line is our full game side pick. If you're looking at the totals, there's a strong trend leaning toward the under. 6 of Chicago's last 7 games have ended under the posted total, and it's been even more of a lock at home. 13 of their last 14 at Rate Field have stayed under. When these two clubs meet in Chicago, the under has hit 5 straight times. Offensively, both teams are near the bottom of the league. Chicago is putting up just 3.33 runs per game, while Athletics isn't that much better at 4.06. The White Sox, in particular, are dead last in team batting average and overall hitting. Over their past 11 games, they've scored 3 runs or fewer 9 times. The A's were shut out in their last game and have been held to 3 runs or fewer in 3 of their last 4. With game time temps dipping below 50 degrees, it's going to be a cold one in Chicago. Definitely not ideal hitting weather. In their last 7 head-to-head meetings, the under has cashed in 5 times, and it's hit 7 out of the last 10 overall. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Detroit Tigers versus Milwaukee Brewers. Detroit, currently sitting at 9-6 on the season, is heading into Tuesday night's game looking to lock down their 3rd straight series win. They'll be at American Family Field, going up against Milwaukee, who sits at an even 8-8. This will be the second of a 3-game interleague matchup between the two clubs. Over the last 10 games these teams have played each other, Detroit has had the upper hand, winning 6 of those contests. The Tigers are on a bit of a roll right now, having won 7 of their past 9 games. Milwaukee, on the other hand, is heading in the opposite direction, dropping 3 of their last 4. Detroit seems to have the momentum here, especially with how they've been swinging the bats lately. They've done some solid work at the plate, particularly when facing right-handed pitching. Even though Priester looked solid in his season debut, he's allowed 6 runs in his 2 outings before that. Combine that with a bullpen that hasn't looked sharp, and it's going to be tough for the Brewers to put the brakes on this Detroit lineup. Milwaukee has struggled a bit more at the plate compared to the Tigers, and that's going to be a problem in this one. Flaherty, who's been reliable over his first few starts, has only allowed 3 runs in total. That kind of consistency is key, and it's worth noting he's also done a good job containing Milwaukee in recent meetings, giving up just 5 runs in his last 3 starts against them. That trend looks likely to continue here. As our first pick for this matchup, the Detroit Tigers money line is our full game side pick. Looking at the totals, both teams have leaned toward the under lately. Detroit's last 2 games stayed under the line, and the same goes for 2 of Milwaukee's last 3. The Tigers are scoring an average of 4.73 runs per game overall, but in their last 3, they've dipped slightly to 4 runs per contest. They're hitting .263 against righties, but they'll be up against a starter who's only allowed 2 runs across his last 2 outings, so their production might be capped a bit. As for Milwaukee, they're averaging just over 5 runs a game on the season and 4.33 over their past 3, with a .243 average against right-handers. They'll be facing a starter who's surrendered only 3 runs in 3 starts, which doesn't make things any easier for their bats. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.